So, elevation, like some people see as financially elevated. Like it gives you everything, but it's not. It doesn't though, right? It can give you some ease and comfortability, but you know, like spirituality says, in any direction, whether it's religion or even just doesn't matter where you go. Spirituality, you got to put in the work, right? Where do you find yourself? Well, I mean, that's where I started out on my whole journey. Like I realized I was acting in a certain way. I was like, why am I like this? And I literally went over my whole life, and and when I got to it, I had to stand in front of the mirror and point right in my own face and be like, that happened to you, Trev. You did. They did that to you. You got put in there. You got held in there. And that's what made me seek out some counseling. Then I had the event happen. That's a whole nother fucking can of worms. But it did, right? It elevates you to and then once you're there, like I didn't know it was gonna happen like that. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Well, that was the whole thing, right? I sought out the counseling to try to better myself, to just to gain something, some sort of insight into, you know, and yeah, to elevate oneself. I mean, you got to elevate yourself emotionally because why? Well, it happened. Like, no matter what you can do, there's no one that's gonna change that. Ain't no time machine. You can't go back there and be like, fucking do that to him, you know. It's a knock to your confidence too at that age, right? And a whole lot of things that you just couldn't even ever explain, and you because you didn't know, right? Because traumatized like that, it creates like a regressive state, like a state of regression, and also at the same time, you're like a walking defense mechanism, right? Mentally, right, and emotionally too, right? So when you get there and you're able to look back at it, and you're just like, holy fuck, you know, that's just the way it was. And after a certain point of time, like you're just like who, like and that's part of that healing process where everyone's just like and like famous like Eminem said it too. Like something you wouldn't even recognize me anymore, not that you knew me back then or anything, right? Because how would you? That version of myself, in particular, that the majority of people met from the time that I was 14 years old was a bit of a regressed slash defense mechanism for the brain, right? That's all it is. Never even knowing that you need to go over it, right? Because that's part of it, right? And so the healing, or at least the acknowledgement of it, right? Acknowledgement, self acknowledgement. Um, that's what I mean. Like, there's a whole lot of life there. Um, and then and then you have the event happen. Well, I did, right? You talk to or you receive the creator's message, and next thing you know, you're on a completely fucking different fucking path in life. You know, like I never really was a spiritual person or a religious person, even though I did pray from time to time for certain things in life. Um, Never wealth or anything like that. Um, but you know, I went to church when I was a kid. I know that. But then what I got told, well, was that the thing that I thought was a dream when I was a child was not a dream at all. And that's what I mean. My journey began and just like something you never ever thought would ever happen, you know, to receive that such a enormous amount of information of truth and love. Yeah. And then, the things that they said to me, and no, correlation between anything, right? I never really studied the Bible or anything like that. No correlation. But, I did the things they say to me, and then I watch the internet, like learn more about fucking the Bible from that. Some people are like, well, why don't you read it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But yeah, the things that they said to me, like, look, you're our favorite. And try to watch the videos, and like, Jesus is God, creator, his favorite. I said, you're the fastest. Videos up there, like Jesus is always the fastest. He's the fastest. The one vision dream that I had, you have to save them. They go, Jesus will save you. It's a daunting task when you're told all these things, but like there's no handbook. There's no this is how you save them. The only way I can see is I look to the things in the Bible, but knowing what you know, I mean, everything has been shifted in the Bible. Like the words have been changed, parts have been dropped, meanings possibly have been changed as well. And when I look specifically at an eye for an eye, which has been taken to some extent to be, you take my eye, I take your eye, as a vengeance thing type scenario. I believe it is an open mind's eye has the ability to open another mind's eye, which in turn has the ability to open another mind's eye, and so on and so forth. Because an open mind's eye is one of the most important things. Not just to know and love thy creator, not to just wait for someone to save you. How does one save you? By opening your mind so that you can save yourself.